Hello and welcome to another comedian's interview for my blog and podcast, A Rich Comic Life. My name is Richard Gill and my blog describes my experiences of watching over 1,500 comedians for the last 50 years and counting. My special guest today is the wonderful Mr. Josh Sedman. Yay! Hello, my friend. How are you?
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
It's really good to see you.
That's a
Thank
bit
you
like
so
that.
much for
Yeah.
doing this. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
I'm really looking forward to talking to you, and I'd like to go back right to the start of your career to kick off and ask you, how did you become a comedian in the first place, please?
Right, so all started February the 14th, Valentine's Day, 2023.
Right.
So comedy for me, it's always been a big passion of mine, but I've always thought myself more of a watcher rather than a doer. And because before I started comedy, I always had a problem with public speaking. That was never something that I was comfortable with or strong with.
Right.
But I've been friends with Jack McLean, fellow comic, for it's coming on 11 years now.
He's just done
But he
this
started doing comedy.
podcast.
Yeah, he said
Yeah.
it went very well.
Yeah.
So he started doing comedy, I think 2 years before I did. And I've kind of looked at him going, I like inspiration. And he just basically says, I think you should give it a go. So before give my first gig a go, my mum asked me to do a speech at a wedding,
Right.
and I thought, if I can get up there to the public, friends and family, etc., if I can do that, then I'll give comedy a go. So
That's what
February
you
the
did.
14th, 2023. Yeah, not looked back since.
So this was, when did you say, 2023?
Yeah, Valentine's Day 2023 was my first gig.
Can you remember your first gig?
So it was at the Verve Comedy Cellar in Leeds. A lot of comedians have gone through that as their first gig, and been back and done it quite a few times. I was, I think, third on, or it might be just after a break, I think, or on. So the gig ended up being Jack McLean was the MC for the night as well.
Wow.
So it fell perfectly. And then I remember I was so nervous. I went outside, I was going to run away. And I just said to myself, no, you want to do this, Josh. And if you want to do this, this is how you do it. So I went on and it went remarkably well for a first gig. It went really, really well for, I think, about 6 minutes. And then I completely forgot what I was saying. I had to get my notes out and it kind of tailed off a bit. But the first 5 minutes were so good, really enjoyable. Crowd was fantastic. There were about 40 people crammed into what a very, very small room. So couldn't have gone better in that sense. But I mean, forget any words. It's something that happens when you first begin. Just a fantastic night. Really got me hooked, basically.
Good on you. So there you are with your first ever gig under your belt. And did you go into the other comedy gigs in pubs? Did you do like 5 minute sets to get yourself more experience, and did you have bringers along with you? Because the reason I asked the question is I am normally the bringer for new comedians because of my infamous laugh.
We all know the laugh.
And I send them on their way.
That was my first ever gig. I've not done any like 5 minute bringer spots or like that. I did bring people to my first gig.
Right.
It was people that I knew were going to be supportive regardless of how bad or good it went.
Right.
Two of my mates come down. They're real supportive. They were fantastic. Yeah, I'm not actually had to do any bringer spots. They're like London based. You know, where you're forced
Yeah,
to bring
yeah, I've
stuff.
heard it's more south than north. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I
but
think I
yeah,
think I think Northerners are more fearless and they just get up there and do it.
yeah, definitely. It basically, I didn't want too many people there because if I died, I didn't want to have to relive that every time I spoke to them. But thankfully, it went well.
Good man. So,
Yeah.
what do you like to talk about on stage? Do you have any specific themes or anything like that?
I'd, I'd like to talk about just personal stuff to me, basically, like sexuality, dating, just stuff that's happened to me, basically,
Right.
because I like to be as relatable as I can, but also, Rich, my life can be a bit weird, and I like to talk about that. It makes it relatable but unique at the same time, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and tell me about your writing process for a routine or a show. How do you go about writing a specific routine?
So writing is actually something I do. I procrastinate so bad. I'll be honest. Like so, writing to me, it comes in bursts. Like driving for work and stuff. Like I'll sit in silence sometimes, and just stuff might come to me on the drive, and then, or I'll run out little things in my head drive, and just try and remember and jot it down when I get to the destination. But yeah, sitting down and writing is something I really, really struggle with. You get better at that, I think.
Very much so.
But
Yeah.
yeah, that's my process. It just comes to me.
I think the more you do, obviously, the more experienced you get, and that happens in both writing and performance.
Yeah,
Um, I think as well that you were very good when we saw you at the Hull What's on Comedian of the Year final. You were really very
yeah,
confident on stage, and you were getting big laughs, and we were very impressed with you. That's a deal in itself to have the confidence to go up there and do it, and I think the originality as well helped enormously in your set. Do you agree with that? I think
yeah.
I think the main qualities to look for are originality, naturalness, and above all, being funny. And you've got them in absolute buckets. You really have.
Thank you, mate. Really appreciate that. Yeah, like the confidence thing, that's just built over time. Obviously, I'm coming up to 2 years in it now, and I think, you know what? I might have done gig 180 the other night. So how weird's that?
That's incredible
I
because
think it was,
I said
I
before we
think,
came on recording, this is something like number 180 of the interviews I've done, which is extraordinary.
yeah, that's about that. Yeah, I think it was number 180 the other night.
Wow.
So yeah, when I first started doing comedy, I was nervous before going on.
Yeah.
I don't get it so much now, unless it's like a competition or a gong show or something like that. Then the nerves do get to me still a bit. But when I first started, I used to have to have a beer before I went on stage, a bit of Dutch courage. And that I don't do that anymore. I will not have a drink before I go on. I
No.
try my best not to the night before either. I like to go on with a sober mind and a clear head to do my sets. The confidence was built over time. Obviously, 180 of them. You kind of get used to the whole process of doing it, and yeah, that's all come. Originality, yes, pride myself on that. I think I'm a bit unique in my material.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah.
You said earlier on that your first gig was at Leeds. Are you Leeds based?
So I live in Cleckheaton, which over it's kind of between Leeds, Bradford, and Huddersfield.
Right.
I'm West Yorkshire based,
West Yorkshire based.
but
Yeah.
I will.
So my home city is Carlisle, but I've been
Okay.
living in London for 30 years. So it's good to get the best of both worlds, and
Yeah, yeah,
it's nice to go around because I obviously go to Hull. I've been to the Hull Comedy Festival twice. I also go to Edinburgh and I go to Brighton and I go to Hastings and I go to Leicester, but we'll talk more about those later on. But it's good to get not just London-based comedy, which is good. And so um, when I went along to Hull and to I've been to a few Leeds comedy clubs as well. It's great to go and witness how the other ones manage and how the other ones carry on, which is great. And it's all very healthy right throughout the country, which is great.
yeah. I imagine it varies quite a lot as well, like materials and
Yeah,
audiences and stuff like that.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, I bet that's interesting.
yeah. What do you think makes a good comedian?
Oof. Well, they've got to be funny, Rich. I've always said that about comedians.
It's a
You've got to
number
be,
one thing, isn't it?
yeah, yeah. Do that. I think if you want to be a comedian, be funny. That's number one. Uh, um, it needs to be like as relatable as you can. Really, I think that just people go with that more than they would do others. Or on the complete opposite of that, be very, very unique
Yeah.
and like over the top. So it, lots of different things can be funny, but number one is be funny.
I
Um,
totally agree. As I mentioned earlier on, one of your big qualities is confidence on stage, and you're also extremely enthusiastic. You were very, very enthusiastic to get that audience laughing. I can't ever imagine you having a
yeah,
bad gig. Can you tell me your worst and best ever gig to date, please?
bad
Have you
gigs
had a
do come
gig where it
around.
where where it is so awkward for everybody, not just you?
So bad gigs do come around.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it's not that often. Um, but I
Of
think,
course.
like, mainly when I first started, it was because you play rooms where there's not a lot of people in.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to play to bigger audiences because, like, sometimes even if you just get 10% of them laughing, it will be contagious. It will spread.
Yeah.
But when you're playing to like five people and a dog, and none of them are interested, then that's where the issue lies. I remember one of the first, at number eight or something like that. I did one in Holmfirth, which is not. It's not far from me, but it was underneath the pub. The night that they'd run before was apparently went really well. There were about 30, 40 people in, and I came along to this night. There was, I think, 12 comedians on. They wanted me to go on last, and there was the MC, the parents of the MC, two friends of the parents of the MC, and two of the MC's friends.
Wow.
And so after each comedian had been on, it had gone that bad. Each comedian left. So obviously the audience was dwindling by one every time somebody had been on. And just comedians were going, this is so awkward. So they were just leaving after their sets. And then obviously as the
No.
night went on, with 4 people less, I'm last on. The
Ah.
parents and the parents' friends had pretty much fallen asleep. So it was basically me coming to the two friends of the MC and one pissed guy who'd walked in halfway through and he's heckling. And I was
Oh
running
God,
through
it
my
couldn't be
set and it
worse.
was
Who are you?
no, oh, it was awful. So awkward. Like I said, they'd fallen asleep. There was two people like laughing-ish, but they were pissed as well, so
Oh,
that wasn't great. And then I was running through my material, and the guy who turned up pissed halfway through his set, pretty much after every little bit that I did, went, "Nah, that's not true. Don't believe you." And I'm like, "Oh, I don't." because we're so new. I didn't know how to deal with this. It was like, just every bit. Were nah, don't believe you, mate. Never happened. Uh,
Wow, that's what let's
all I could say to him was, "Are you pissed?" And he went, "Yeah." And I went, "Well, you're only drinking half pint. I don't believe you." That's all. That's
you
all I
don't
could think
need
of.
it.
It
You
was just
don't
so
need
awkward.
it.
No, it's not
Let's
necessary. And then you get the normal thing of at the end of the gig. It comes over and goes, "Oh, I thought that was brilliant, mate. Yeah, I just thought I were adding to it. You're not adding anything to it. You're adding awkwardness. That's it, and nobody wants that." Um, yeah, so I think
I
that might be
always
my worst gig.
I always remember one where we were at Headliners Comedy Club in Chiswick, and the comedian Ricky Grover was on stage, who's really good, and there was two
Right.
really awful hecklers in the front row, and he stopped the show, he jumped down and physically threw them out, and he came back on to the theme of Rocky because he was an ex-boxer,
Oh, okay.
and everybody cheered,
Absolutely
and it was
perfect.
fantastic. And he came, and his gig went stratospheric
I can
because
imagine.
it's so
They were
good.
laughing at anything that I imagine.
Yeah, yeah, and the outcome of that story is we're obviously not there to hear the hecklers. The audience are here to listen to the comedians. Otherwise, why be there? You know. Um, let's counterbalance that with your best gig. What was your best ever gig?
So, best ever gig was actually the one that I had 2 nights ago.
Oh,
It was,
fantastic!
yeah, perfect. Like the lineup was incredible. It were a gig in Leeds for Mickey P. Kerr
Yeah,
from British Talent a few years ago. So he was MC slash promoter. The opening act was Phil Nichols.
fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. So it was a really nice moment for me because I remember like I must have been about 14, 15 when I was growing up. I used to stay up and watch the Comedy Central, Comedy Store, and all the Edinburgh and Beyond and all that sort of
Yeah,
stuff. And Phil Nichols was kind of one of the comedians I remember from
yeah.
all the way back then. Him and the Cocky the Juice Pigs that were on and stuff like that was
He's so
absolutely
funny.
incredible. He's
He's
hilarious
been on
and
here. He was absolutely amazing on here. He's such a lovely
yeah,
bloke. Yeah,
lovely man, absolutely lovely man. So really nice to meet him after obviously
yeah.
it's 20 years since I watched him on TV like that. And I had a little moment where he were doing the Only Gay Eskimo song, and
Yeah,
that was something that's it's just been stuck in my head since I saw that 20 years ago on TV. And
it's legendary that
now
song.
here, yeah, and now I'm here, and I'm on a lineup with him, and it blew my mind. It was just incredible. It was a proper moment for me. And yeah, so he did his bit, and then he went off. Unfortunately, he couldn't stay because he was double. But really, really nice man. He had a heckler that he put down quite well. I was really impressed with that. So yeah, then there was a break. Thank because I was on next. I didn't fancy following that carnage that was going
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
I needed a bit of a breathe. Then Mickey were like, it can be a bit of like not a bad crowd, but sometimes they take a while to get into the flow with it.
Sure.
So like, oh, but yeah, went on. The gig went absolutely fantastic. I felt I had them as well, so I relaxed into my set. I could look across and the comics laughing. It was just fantastic. The 10 minutes flew by. It just went so well. Really happy with myself. First time a gig for me as well, and he runs quite a lot of gigs, so I need to impress him. He said, "Well done." And after me were Hannah Margaret, who's
Oh,
fantastic. Love her. We both know and love Hannah, don't we?
she's so good.
And then she's fantastic, yeah. And headline with Josh Pugh, another
What a bill.
fantastic comedian, lovely, lovely man.
Yeah.
And he was there for my set as well and said it went well, so that was really nice to hear that from such a established comedian. Um, yeah, it just went absolutely perfectly well. Like I say, little moments for me meeting one of the people that I grew up watching. Yeah, just perfect.
I'm
Everything
so
just went.
pleased for you. It's so good when
Thanks.
they go well. Um, when I was at Hull this last year, we went. I always love to go to new comedy clubs, and we went to Cottingham Comedy Club, and
Yeah, lovely.
Gary and Jed, who are the co-directors at Hull, they said to me, "There's a special guest on tonight, and we're not telling you who it was." And the headliner in this tiny club was Phil Nicol, and he took the roof off.
I can imagine. Yeah, it's a lovely venue. That
Yeah,
for the comedy,
he'll play anywhere. That's his great asset. You know, he's not
yeah.
afraid to be fearless. Um, you mentioned earlier on about nerves. Do you still get nervous now going on stage? And if so, how do you cope with any nerves?
So early on, I got given this piece of advice. I can't remember who it was from, but it was tell your brain that there's no difference between nerves and excitement. It's the same sort of emotion. So ever since I started, I was just like, you're not nervous, you're excited. You're not nervous, you're excited. You're not nervous, you're excited. I still when I'm doing like I did Frog and Bucket before Christmas.
Yeah, no,
Still get
well,
some nerves before that because so yeah, with the gong show there, I don't like gongs. I don't like they make me feel weird because the added pressure of you can just get booed off at any time. Um, yeah, still, if it's a high pressure gig like a gong show, something like that, or a competition, I still do get nerves, but they do pass as soon as you stand in front of the mic. Like I can be nervous before the gig, but as soon as I get in front of the mic, it's like it's showtime. You're here now. It's
yeah.
not what else you can do with it. You're gonna do it. So yeah, just it's excitement rather than nervousness. That really helped me at the beginning. But
It,
yeah, it used to be I needed confidence, and I don't now. So I'm quite happy and comfortable going on doing what I do.
Yeah, good man. It's interesting you mentioned gong shows because the only time I've ever had a go at being a stand-up comedian myself was for a gong show that I didn't realise was happening. This was years ago at Edinburgh. I used to know the promoter at the Free Fringe, and I said to him when I first went there, I said, people think I'm funny in pubs and I think I can be a stand-up comedian. He said, well, we've got an old folks gong show at the Haymarket on a Monday afternoon. It couldn't be worse. It was in the rain. It was just depressing. He said, go on. So I walked out. There was 3 pissed drunks in the crowd. That was the crowd, and I walked out and I said, "Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. People think I look like Eddie the Eagle Edwards, the ski jumper, but I can't see the resemblance myself. And of course, I'm his absolute double, the Eddie the Edwards ski jumper." One old fella at the back just went, "Fuck off!" and cut us off. And I walked off to my own footsteps, and that was it.
Wow.
And I thought, never say never again. But by God. It was.
That's impressive, Rick.
Thank you very much. I said to the.
Do you never plan back into it?
Well, I said to the promoter, never say never again. But I think my calling card, which proved right, was sitting in the audience, watching you all because of the success of the blog and the podcast and everything. But never say never again. I have been on stage. My local comedy club is Always Be Comedy in London. And for years, the compere there, James Gill, who is no relation, I was sitting on the front row, and he used to play a singing game where he played a song, and you had to guess the lyrics, and I recognised the title. And he said, "Oh, come up and sing it." And of course, the joke is I can't sing a note. So I hammered out "Living on a Prayer" by Bon Jovi, and drowned the audience. The audience thankfully drowned me out, and all the big comedians who would come on straight after would go, "I can't follow that, ladies and gentlemen," and it become infamous. So I thought, well, the first night again at Hull, of course, Gary being Gary said to me, "We're going to a karaoke night," and I thought, "Oh God, I don't know anybody here." So I resurrected it all. and it was like, oh my god, who is this? You know, but it was very funny. Anyway, excuse me. So, would you say, if you are nervous before you go on for a gig, is it when you walk on the stage, or is it when you speak into the microphone, or is it when you get your first laugh? Do any of the nerves go?
I'd say it's probably like as soon as stepping foot on stage, because it's to an extent you can't do all about it. Then you're gonna do your stuff, and you know your stuff works, and you're there then, and yeah, it all lifts, which is great. Like I said, I don't know that much anymore, but when I do, it does lift as soon as I get on stage. And it's kind of, yeah, I'm just there to do what I love doing, and hopefully I love it, and thankfully a lot of the time I do. So, just big relief.
Brilliant, my friend, brilliant. How do you remember all your routines? Do you have a way of remembering them all?
So my routine, it kind of from start to finish, it's all linked, so that there's no kind of moving away from certain subjects and stuff like that. So when I first started doing comedy, I really struggled to remember everything. It's like my first gig, I took notes on stage. I forgot what I was doing, but thankfully, because it was an open mic materials on night, that's fine, you can do that. So I took notes on and ended up reading the notes, and I'm not very good at reading out loud, to be honest. So that didn't work for me. The second gig that I went to, I wrote the notes on the back of my hand. And again, that didn't really work for me either. And then a third gig, I wrote notes on the back of my hand again. And then fourth gig, I just went, you're just going to have to throw yourself into it. And if you forget it, you won't forget it again, because it's going to be that bad. So I've I've just practice, and then just doing it over and over again in front of the crowd and stuff like that. And yeah, I took that comfort blanket away from me, because I do think that there were elements of, I knew, but because it was there on my hand, I was looking at it. So I took that away and just remember it now. And it's always good to have like a backup joke. So when I first started, there was elements of me forgetting stuff, and my backup joke was, if I needed to buy something, do you ever walk into a room and forget why you become a stand-up comedian? And that bought me a little bit of time, because that got a bit of a trouble, and then it was like, oh right, yeah, that's where I was. And then, like I said, I've written it so it flows from one subject to another. There's a little bit of a link, a little bit of a bridge between each bit. It should, I know it, so it should just flow now, which is
brilliant. That's so good. That's such a good idea. I other than this blog and podcast, the most creative thing I ever did was write a play, which is a half-hour, 40-minute play, which originally was for the Edinburgh Fringe, but me and my mate put it on for Comic Relief. And the play's called The Applicant. It's basically about me coming down to London from Carlisle, and I've never had a job interview, and I come down to London, stay with my very successful girlfriend, and every job interview is my experiences of having the job interview. So it's me sitting in a waiting room. Then the interviewer comes on, and my mate played all the different interviewers, and it's just me. But the first one I ever did, I'd never had an interview in my life, didn't have a clue. So as I'm waiting in the waiting room, I get nervous and start talking to the audience. So I'm writing all these monologues about this character. And I'd written the thing, and when we came to do 3 shows, the first night we did it, I walked out, and I completely forgot the monologue, and I was like a rabbit in headlights. I said, I just want to go home. I've had enough. But what was interesting, as soon as my friend come on stage, we picked it up and we bantered off each other. Acting is different to stand-up comedy, but I think if you've got in a similar situation, the comedian has the audience to play off if they get lost, and they can remember bits and pieces. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, it definitely does help comedians out. It's like one of the things I want to do this year is do more MC work because I think
Right.
it'll help build me again as a comedian. It's just yeah, to have someone on the spot and you're like, yeah, right, you can get out of situations and stuff like that. So it's better. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting. Let's move on. I have my holidays every year at the Edinburgh Fringe. I go there for a week. I see about 50 shows. I need a holiday by the time I come back. I'm exhausted. My liver gets battered. All the rest of it. I've branched out a lot more. As I said earlier on, we're recording this in January 2025, and the first big festival of the year is Leicester, which I'm going to in February. Then we've got Brighton, then we've got Hastings, then we've got Edinburgh, then we've got Hull. So they're the big five I go to. Tell me your experiences of going to fringes or festivals, in particular if you've been to the Edinburgh Festival at all, in so much as have you ever been as a punter? Have you ever done any shows? Have you ever shared shows with comedians or had solo shows yourself?
Not yet is the answer.
Right.
It's definitely on my hit list to do. 'Cause I think after watching like the likes of Hannah and her show, Holly Noble, her
Yeah.
show, Frank Garrison, his show, all at Hull,
Yeah.
they're all fantastic shows.
Yeah.
And obviously, I started out like a similar time to when Holly started, and seeing her develop as an act, I think that show's just thrown her so far along. I think massively. Yeah, it's ambition that I want to do. I do want to sit down and write a full show. Um, so I've just done a 10-minute spot at Leicester Fringe Festival last year. That were really fun.
Yeah.
Um, I've, yeah, and I visited Hull over the last 2 years to go watch shows and stuff like that. But as of yet, I've not done all. Obviously, I've competed in the Hull Comedian of the Year
Yeah. Yeah.
competition.
Yeah. And you did
That,
so well.
that was a really good night. Some really good acts on that night as well. It's a pleasure to see Jed MC. He gets a room like incredibly well.
He's so good at doing it, isn't
Yeah,
he?
no,
Yeah.
yeah, he's fantastic. He's Jed, yeah,
Yeah.
really big. He's a lovely man as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, no, I've not visited that many to be honest.
It's
But yeah, it's
it's
definitely
well
on my hit
worth
list.
doing. It's well worth doing just as a punter, just to see what they're like.
Yeah, like well, before I started doing stand up, I was going to watch quite a few shows,
Yeah.
like the Opeki sort of stuff, just so I could get myself used to what it was going to be like.
Yeah.
Because I had a habit of before I did a gig, I'd want to go see the room or
Of course.
just to settle myself, so I knew exactly kind of what I was expecting audience wise, what the room was like, just to get my bearings. So yeah, I think I'll go do a festival or pop down to a festival and just see what's going on. I think Hastings might be on my hit list because my mum's husband, his family's down there.
All right. We will see you there.
That might be on the hit list for this year.
That would be good.
Yeah.
If you're going to go this June, we'll definitely see you there, and we'll have a beer with you.
Perfect.
That'll be really good. The two that organise Hastings each year, and it's one of the best ones. Chris and Jake have been on here, and of course it's by the seaside and everything. But they organise such a great fringe festival, and this year's their 10th year, so it should be really good.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, so that's going to be very special. So I hope to see you there. We'll definitely buy you a drink. I come along with two of my dearest friends who love comedy like I do, and one of them will lean over with me going bananas and lean over, and he'll go, "I've heard this before." And it's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they deliver it well. And he goes, "I know your enthusiasm is amazing, Rich." and Maria is so lovely to come along to go along with as well. Because I can get carried away. Because for me, it's the experience of going. And I've seen so many comedians. What I'm very good at is if somebody wants to come to a comedy show with me, I'm very good at picking the names on a bill and thinking, well, I think this character will like this comedian, and it normally works, you know. So, but I also think as well with Edinburgh, it's in danger of eating itself up because it is getting very pricey, which is such a shame. But the atmosphere there is incredible. It is so good.
Heard that again. I think it's going to suffer a lot this year because I think obviously Oasis are there
Yeah,
halfway through it.
that's
So
yeah. And it couldn't be a worse time.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, they'll up the prices again. However, I will still hopefully get there for a weekend, and I've got a lot of good friends there. I'm very lucky to be able to go to the comedians' parties afterwards and get in there with all the off the back of this. So I'm very privileged to be able to do what I do. But I certainly think getting experience from just going to fringe festivals, if you can go, and we hope to see you, as I say, in Hastings this year. It'd be great to see you.
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to.
Good man. Let's move on. So, to date, what's been your comedy highlight?
Comedy highlight. I won so Cat and Stick. They're like a local promoter to the West Yorkshire area. They ran a new competition. That was last year. Sorry, it wasn't last year. The year before now, 2023. So there was heats for that, and there were like X per heat. And I managed to get through to the final as the best runner-up of my heat.
Congratulations, well deserved.
I've been going, I think, 3 months when I did the heat. Then I got through to the fact. There's been some fantastic acts in this competition as well, so got through to the final of that. And again, there were like 10 acts in the final as well, and I ended up winning it. So that was
fantastic.
Massive validation for me. I absolutely loved it. My mum was there to see it as well.
Oh, so brilliant.
Wonderful. Yeah. It was great. I'd gone through a breakup that year as well. And something that always sticks with me from the breakup was when I said I'm going to start doing it, he said, "Why? You're not funny." So that stuck with me for a long time. And then the breakup happened before the final, and then just to go home with this trophy, that says, "Josh, you're funny."
That's so good. I'm so pleased for you. I'm so pleased for you.
Oh,
that's brilliant.
Yeah. Lovely moment for me, that. So I came up, sat with the cats, ate cheese on toast, and just had a good look at this trophy that I've won. Yeah.
That's brilliant. You should always remember as well. I don't know whether you know this, but the Sarah Millican story of if ever you have a difficult gig, you've got until 10 o'clock the next day to mourn about it and then forget it, because tomorrow is the next day, and tomorrow could be the best day you have. And that's how a lot of the comedians, I believe, keep going, because it is. I mean, it's not awful things happening, but it is daunting standing up on a stage trying to make a new audience laugh. It must be daunting, but when you get the laughs, it must be. They always say it's like taking a drug, and it must be the after effects of a drug, because. Certainly from the audience point of view, if you get to a point, if I'm laughing to the point where I can't laugh anymore, and you do a topper, if you say something else, and I laugh more, that's just joyous, and that's just coming from me. It must be amazing being on stage, getting the laughs.
Yeah, absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. There's nothing like it. It's incredible. It's, like all comedians need validation as well, and we get that from laughs. And the fact that I can do that 2-3 times a week, it's incredible. It's like Millikan's Law as well. Yeah, it's something that I'd lived as well.
Yeah,
I got told that very early on, and they say good or bad. Just
Yeah,
park it and then move on to your next one. But
that's it. That's it.
there's nothing like it.
I was trying to remember what it was called, and it is. It's Milliken's Law, isn't it? That's right.
Yeah.
Do you have any ambitions as a comedian? Would you like to be on TV? Would you like your own quiz show? Anything like this?
I'd love this to be my day to day, and I wouldn't have to do an actual job. That'd be
Yeah.
fantastic. I say actual job, you know. 'Cause I can like been working for 19 years at the same place. It's the only job I've ever had. It was supposed to be a job for the 6 week holidays, and into the longest 6 week holiday job anybody's ever had. I do a lot of driving. It's
Always the
hours,
way.
yeah, I've never left. Job, you know, I just went into this, and it'd be nice to not have to get up at 6 in the morning every morning. It'd be lovely to go
Yeah.
to be gigging every night. That'd be incredible. It would be, yeah. I'd love this to be my day job. I know how difficult it is, and it takes years to break through and all that. But if I could make it work, then that'd be an absolute dream for me.
Well, seriously, mate. You're a very talented comedian, and just keep doing what you do because
Thank you.
we loved it. We absolutely loved the 10 minutes. The boldness of your routine was extraordinary, and you were getting big laughs. So, and it's great to hear that you are regularly gigging 2 or 3 times a week, which is wonderful because it is a healthy area, West Yorkshire, for comedians. Look at the amount of comedians that have come out of there, popular comedians. Amy Gledhill, Louise Atkinson, Ian Smith, Lloyd Griffith is only in Grimsby. There's loads and loads and loads of them. There's something about northern comics that just make it work. And I'm so proud to be from Carlisle. I don't think I'd ever go back there to retire, but it will always be home. And even Carlisle's got its burgeoning comedy scene. You know, there's 2 really good theatres there. All the comedians play there, and it's such a healthy thing, and it's such a joyous thing to be part of. It really is.
Yeah, my mate Justin, he's just set up a gig in Carlisle as well.
Yeah, yeah. It's
So
the theatre's there called the Old Fire Station. That's the smaller venue, and the bigger venue is the Sand Centre, which is about 2 or 3 thousand, and that they get bigger comedians there. Yeah. So, but the Old Fire Station, I know the guy who runs it, and they get a lot of comedians there. So. It would be great to see you in. If you played Carlisle, I could go. I could have a few days off, and we'd go back up to Carlisle. I'd show you around Carlisle.
I'd love to do it. I would love
Yeah,
to do it.
it'd be so good. Who are your favourite comedians, past and present? Did you have comedy growing up?
So, like I said, the comedy growing up, well, like seeing Phil Nichols on stuff and stuff like that. That were, yeah, and like I think I'm of the generation where we all got the Peter Kay DVDs, we all got the Lee Evans DVDs. Um, Lee Evans, I absolutely loved Lee Evans growing up, and it was nice. I got to see him on tour as well, which before he sadly retired from comedy. Seeing Peter Kay live, Alan Carr live, John Bishop live. Tim Minchin's fantastic live as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, with his big orchestra
Yeah, superb.
Manchester.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they were the ones kind of growing up. And have you seen Tom Stade?
He's brilliant.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So I've been going to watch him live for probably 10 years. He's fantastic.
He's so
I love
good.
how he brings the audience in with him as well.
Yeah.
He's so good, so talented. He's one that I'd love to be on a bill with. I'd love Tom. I think he's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, he's one of the best.
Yeah, like I thought he should have been probably. I know he's a big act, but I think he should be a lot further on than what he is, and I think he's incredible. Really, really good.
But again, I think he's doing it for the love of the game as well.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
forever gigging, and you know he obviously loves doing it. My first ever gig when I was 7 on holiday in Scarborough with the family was Les Dawson, and he was incredible. He's still top 5 for me. I just love the act. And then a year later, we saw Tommy Cooper in Scarborough as well,
Oh wow.
and he was the curtains opened and he's lying on a bed. And there's nobody else on stage, just him lying on a bed. And there's one woman in the crowd crying with laughter. It just trickles round, so everybody's laughing. And he hasn't done a thing. After about 3 or 4 minutes, he pops his head up. He goes, "What? Somebody come on!"
He's so brave to do
He
something
was
like
genius.
the man was a genius. Yeah, absolutely. A maverick.
Yeah, yeah. So we saw him. Ken Dodd was another favourite for gag telling. He was amazing. Saw him 3 or 4 times. I used to get into arguments with him. And when I lived in Crewe for a while, and he came on. He said, "Can anybody tell me what the newspaper is in Crewe?" And I went, "Oh, it's the Chronicle, Ken." And 2 old women behind me went, "No, no, it's not the Chronicle. It's the Mail." And I turned around and went, "No, no, it's the Chronicle. It's the Chronicle." And it floored him. And he said to me, he said, "Where are you from, sir?" I said, "Carlisle." He said, "Oh." And I got a big laugh. And he said, "I'll see you on Sunday." It's so good. I never met him. I'd have loved to have met him. But I've been in London for 30 years. And I used to go to Manchester a lot as well, see my friend. You're saying about Peter Kay. Peter Kay is one of my favourites. And I first saw him in a comedy club in Manchester well before he was famous, on a bill of 5 acts. And he was 4th on. And I laughed so hard I missed the 5th act. And I had to go and apologise a month later to Dave Gorman, who was the 5th act.
All right, wow.
And I said to my mate, he's going to be a superstar, to Peter Kay. And I've interviewed Justin Moorhouse, who I love, and I've interviewed Alex Lowe, who plays Clinton Baptiste, the clairvoyant in Phoenix Nights. And I would obviously love to interview Peter Kay, but it's like, how do you get to these major comedy stars now? But who knows? So that was a moment. Another moment was Rick Mail in Carlisle. He was incredible on his 1987 tour. He threw a member of the audience out for not laughing at him. Just incredible. Bravery again.
They're bringing nothing to the gig. Get rid of them. What's the point?
Exactly. My favourite opening line ever is from Harry Hill. I saw him before he was famous, and who doesn't like Harry Hill? I saw him downstairs at the King's Head in London. He brushed past me, jumped up on stage and said, "Hello, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really sorry I'm late. I had to have a testicle brought down." And there was a pause and a laugh. And then he said, "From Derby." And 25 years later, when I first met him, I shook his hand and I told him this story. And he said, "Rich," he said, "I still tell that story to this day." The great thing about Harry Hill is he's another one who's been there, done the TV, and he's back now in clubs, loving what he does. Yeah. And he's still going on tour and everything. But I think once a comedian, always a comedian. You know. Another favourite of mine at the moment is Josh Widdicombe. I love The Innocents. I love so many of them. I love Kerry Godliman. I think she's a great comedian. Jason Byrne at the Edinburgh Fringe is always brilliant. But I love all different styles of comedy. I love the one-liners. I love the nutters. I love the off the wall comedians.
I've seen Spencer Jones.
Yeah, he's superb. He's superb.
He's, like I said, when I were on about earlier, like what's good to be beginning, to be relatable or just completely batshit. Yeah. And I love how different he is. I think he's fantastic.
Yeah. I love originality. I always remember another favourite's Arthur Smith, and he once he does a show every year at Edinburgh, and he's doing a monologue up front, and behind him, a stark naked woman walked from one wing to the other wing, and he didn't flinch at all. And everybody went, "Wow!" That was at the start of the show, and at the end of the show, she walked back. And I'm thinking, that's genius, to keep them engaged, and there's nothing better, as I say, to support anybody who can get up and have a go. I always get criticised. I think if there is a criticised for my blog, it's because I like everybody, and it's not that. It's as I said earlier, it's my experience of going. There are comedians who I'm not going to mention who I might not enjoy as much as others, but I will remain silent. You will know. I will never heckle or anything like that, and I'll always give them the benefit of the doubt for having a go. So it's still all very positive. So it's such a wonderful medium to be part of. Like me, do you go to a lot of comedy gigs as a member of the audience now you're a comedian? You said you went a lot before you became a comedian.
Yeah, I used to love going. I'd say I go see, like, I've got tickets to go see Peter Kay next month. Spencer Jones, I'm off to go see him. There's like that I want to go see, but I always make sure, like, kind of the level that I'm at, I always stay for the whole show.
Sure.
I get there for the opener. I stay throughout. I make sure I stay see the headliner. Just because I like to watch comedy, but I also like to try them as well. It's like, hopefully, fingers crossed, at some point, that headliner spot, fingers crossed, one day it might be something that I'm doing. So I need to learn and pick up the best way of doing it.
Of course.
So I'm trying to learn all the time, and I just love watching comedy. So it is good that I now get free tickets to go see it by being on the lineup.
Of course. My friend, I've loved talking to you. It's been absolutely wonderful. You've been a great guest. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we go? So have you got a podcast? What's your social media? Anything like that?
So Instagram, I'm at Josh Sedman Comedy. I do try and post on there, so you'll be able to catch me on one of them. Just try and build a following for that. I'm on TikTok. I don't use it that much. That might be Josh Sedman Comedy as well. I don't get it, Rich. It's for young people, and I don't know what I'm doing with it.
I'm the same. I think TikTok is part of the clock.
Yeah, perfect. Yes, TikTok. I do post on it, just videos that are already on my Instagram. Yeah. So just follow me on my Instagram. It's the best way to do it, I think.
And anything else you'd like to say or not?
No, I think that's it, Rich.
I think we're done, haven't we? Well, thank you so much for your time. It's been so good talking to you. And I'm so looking forward to coming to see you again soon, because you're a really talented comedian, and I wish you all the very best.
Thanks, mate. It means a lot. Thank you.
You take care, and all the best to you.
Yeah, you too, Rich. Thank you for having me.
Thanks now.